Let's go to Westminster, should we? We can talk to the Foreign Secretary, William Hague. Good morning to you, Mr Hague. Look, just what's your reflection at this stage, where the Conservative Party has done in all of this? You've got a pretty healthy share of the vote, but obviously you're still a considerable number of MEPs down here.
Well, the governing party hasn't won European elections for 30 years. They've always been won in that time by the official opposition, usually by quite a wide margin. So I think for us Conservatives to only go down about 3% from where we were 5 years ago when we were in opposition, and only to be about 1% behind Labour in an election at this stage is a pretty creditable result. But of course UKIP have won the election. We have to recognise that, and all across Europe you've seen some pretty deep disillusionment and disaffection with Europe. So that message has got to be heard loud and clear in Brussels. And coming to the general election, we have to be very clear in the Conservative Party that if people want a referendum on in or out of Europe, they get that by voting for a Conservative government in the general election, which is very different from a European election. But
you have got to, I mean, we hear from politicians all the time that, you know, you're going to be listening, you're going to be responding to what the people have said in all of this. This seems to be a two-pronged attack, though. People aren't happy with Europe, aren't happy with immigration, and aren't happy generally with the state of politics in this country, because this is clearly, as much as anything else, a pretty strong protest vote.
It is a protest vote. I think you're right about that. And I think there is a lot of anger and anxiety about those and other issues. So what are we going to do about that? Well, we are going to make sure we provide the answers to those things and get on with succeeding at what this government has set out to do, which includes reducing immigration, which includes, if we have a Conservative government after next year's election, a referendum on Europe. And, of course, most importantly, it includes a sustainable economic recovery with a long-term economic plan, and that you're not going to get from a Labour government. So these are the things that bring jobs, that bring prosperity to this country, and these are the things we have to make sure, these are the answers we have to be delivering over the coming year.
A referendum on Europe, yes, and it's clear people want that from the results we've seen, but still you're holding to your line, are you, that you'd hold a referendum but you'd campaign to stay in?
Well, what we say is we'd hold a referendum when we have set about fixing the relationship between Britain and Europe. That means making Europe more flexible, more competitive, having the ability to bring powers back to the UK from the EU, and making it more accountable, particularly to national parliaments. Then we would have a referendum, and if we succeed in achieving the things I've just listed, well, then we would be saying, on this basis, we can stay in the European Union. But the important thing is the people would decide. This is a democracy. There will be a referendum if David Cameron is Prime Minister after the general election, and that's the main thing for people to bear in mind when they vote in the general election next year.
Yet clearly one of the big issues is not only immigration, but, you know, cross-European migration. That cannot change, can it, whilst we're in the European Union? That's surely not going to be up for negotiation when you go to Europe, should you win the next general election.
There are things about that can change and that we are changing. For instance, we're trying to make sure that when people do come here, they're coming here for the right reasons. They are coming here for work and to contribute to the economy. And that's why we've clamped down on benefit rules, bringing them into line, actually, with many other European countries, so that people are not coming to the United Kingdom to take advantage of our welfare system. That's part of the welfare reform that is only taking place because there was a change of government at the last general election. So there are things that we can and are doing. The Home Secretary explained yesterday, as you know, that we could do more in a Conservative-only government, in a Conservative majority government. That's another reason we'll set out to achieve that next year.